Happy day everyone. Today from the Department of English from M.O.P. College, we are going to see how to properly describe any graphical representation. Let's look at this slide. So many data is coming in and we are not able to decipher what it actually represents. There are so many rows and rows of number and we are not able to identify proper trends, any phenomena or if it had any anomaly. So, what is the solution? It's better to see any information when you are trying to explain to a large number of crowd or in a workplace where you have to present a product or something. So, it's better to use visual representation. It could be of any type. So, in this video, we are going to see what are the different types of visual representations that are there and how to properly describe them. Right. So, in this session, first we will start with what graphical representations are and why is it important, what are the advantages of using graphical representation and how to properly explain a graphical representation, and then we will move on to different types of visual images. It could be of line graph, bar graph, and we will see what those are one by one. Then we will move on to the proper vocabulary you need to use in order to describe any information that are conveyed there. From there we will take towards writing a ideal descriptive answer for any visual images. Then we will see what are the helping features such as transitional words, collocation and concluded. Right. So, what is graphical representation? It is nothing but visual representation of numerical data. So, when you are doing any analysis or taking a survey, you will have piles and piles of data and it is very hard to understand it, to critically analyze it. So, the purpose any graphical representation serves is this, simply helps us to understand what is presented in a mass number, that is all. So, why do we need to use graphical representation and what purpose it serves to communication and business English? First of all, it helps you to clearly visualize the data and understand it, simplify it and convey it in our own terms, so that it will be easy for you to explain it to others and it will have a personal touch as well. Then you can easily identify the trends that are currently followed or highlight any new phenomena that are coming up, or you can easily identify certain anomalies that a particular instance is leaving behind. So, it has other usages as well. It is useful in any field. It has a universal utility factor as well. You can use it in education, economics, commerce, trade, in any field. You just name it, you can use any graphical representation anywhere. But the main factor here is how to describe it, how to properly narrate a visual image verbally. That is where this session would be more helpful. And we are going to be looking at what are the different types of graphical representation. There are many different graphical representations. In this video, we will be looking at 4 different components of graphical representation. First is line graph. As the name suggests, the data is represented through a graph using lines. The information are plotted on a graph, then joined it through a line. That will help us to identify where is there any progression or is there any decrease in the product that are sold or in any areas as well. Just like that, we have pie chart and table, and apart from these we have many different types such as histograms, leaf and stem tables, so on and so forth. What is the purpose that it serves to communication, especially business English? Let us say you are presenting a seminar over to a large number of crowd. It will help you to focus your narration. It will help you to give a better delivery. It gives clarity and makes the audience understand your presentation better. It majorly helps you to turn a visual representation into a verbal narration. Sharpens your mind and helps you to critically analyze any data so that you can bring your own conclusion to the table. It will help us to analyze any information that are given and provide a better and feasible solution for any problem that you are trying to solve. Then it also helps you to decipher hidden nuances, so that you will be able to explain any visual representation better using different phrases and collocation. That will help you to shine better in your career. Let us look at various vocabularies that you can use in order to make your answer much more impactful. So, in order to explain any visual media, you need to use the components that it has. First of all, let us look at the line graph here. You can clearly see that this line graph represents the cookie sale that happened over a period of week. So, in the lower line you can see the days of the weeks are mentioned, and in the standing next to the standing line you can see the number of boxes that are sold. So, these two lines are known as axis. The standing line is the vertical axis and the sleeping line is the horizontal axis. The components that explains the sale would be mentioned in these two axes, and whenever the sale is at the lowest and the sale is less in number, it can be called as lowest point, and when the sale reaches the highest point, it can be called as peak. For example, you can use this particular phrase in a sentence like this: the cookie sale reached its peak on Friday. Then you can clearly see that there was a drop in the sale from Wednesday to Thursday. So, that can be called as a sharp fall, or in another terms decline, so on and so forth. So, a sample sentence would be: the sale fell sharply or dropped after Wednesday. Then you can clearly see a steady progression in the sale from Monday to Wednesday. Those changes can be simply termed as steady growth or an inclination in the sale. Example sentence would be: there was a steady growth in sale from Monday to Wednesday. These are the only vocabulary that can be used? No. The major thing that you have to follow whenever you are writing such answers is that you should not repeat certain words again and again. That will make your answer redundant. So, it does not serve the purpose of aiming for the clarity that you are providing your audience. So, you need to mix up the vocabulary, use different words that precisely reflect the changes that are happening. For example, for the word increase, what are the different words that you could use? Words such as rise, go, up, soar, climb. These words could be used instead of increase. And for the word decrease, it could be fall, decline. When the decline is rapid, you could use a word such as plummet, drop, sudden change. Such words could be used instead of decrease. Then words such as steadiness, change, you can use words such as stable, remain static. For example, when the sale was same throughout the entire week, you can simply call it as the sale remained static throughout the week, or there was no sudden change in sale on that particular week. For example, the word change, instead of it you could use words such as swiftly dropped or swiftly progressed, dramatically changed, it took a rapid turn. Such words would enhance your answer better, and these changes are generally called as trends. Whenever there is a progression, it is called as upward trend. Whenever the sale or any data that is declining, it could be called as downward trend. Okay, now let us see how you can structure your answer better, how to properly write a summary for any graphical images that are presented to you. First and foremost thing that you have to do is identify what type of visual image that are given. Either it is a line graph, bar graph, pie chart, anything. You need to identify what that is and what it is representing. Here in this example, you can clearly see that 4 different components are involved, namely mobile phone games, online games, console games and handheld games throughout the period of 7 years, which is mentioned in the horizontal axis, and these 4 different components are mentioned in the vertical axis. How the progression of sale of these components have changed over the period of 7 years are clearly mentioned using these bars. And whenever you are writing an answer, you need to identify that this is a bar chart, and the 2 major components are sale of different types of video games and the period of years through which it is tracked. Then you need to give a brief introduction about what the visual is, then what it is conveying. For example, let us take the year 2006. In the year 2006, you can clearly see the handheld games had been sold the highest, and the sale of console game had been the lowest. So, mentioning of such clear details should be there in your answer. That will enhance your answer and convey all the information that are given in a visual image and convert it as a verbal narration. Then the most important aspect is comparing and contrasting the data that are given. Anybody can simply look at the diagram and see that the sale in 2006, the highest is handheld games. Anybody can do that, but as an individual, what makes your answer better is the critical analysis that you do. So, let us do comparison over here. In the year 2000, the sale of online games was nothing, it was not mentioned at all, but there is a steady growth throughout these 7 years, which you can clearly see in 2006. Such critical analysis are appreciated in any answers. That is what will make your answer stand out. Now, let us see how an ideal answer should be structured. The first major thing that you can notice is that these answers are divided into paragraphs. Actually, that will help your answer to stand out, so that anybody who is looking at your answer, who is looking at your description would be able to make sense of it. First paragraph talks about a brief description of what the visual image is. As I showed in the previous slide, you can clearly see that it is a bar chart and it talks about the sale of games over the period of time. Then it talks about the comparing contrasting data that you will be able to find out on your own. So, over the period of 7 years, how the sale of different types of games have evolved. So, which is holding the highest position, which is holding the lowest position, all such comparison data are given in the next paragraph. So, all your answers should have an organic flow. So, in this slide you can see there is an introduction, then you are moving into the visual image, that is all the data that are represented. Then you are getting a clear description of what each component represent. In the year 2001 what happened, in the year 2002 what are the changes that happened, so on and so forth are represented separately in a different paragraph. Your answers would make sense when you have a flow to what you are writing. Then at the very end you are bringing in your own conclusion. What is the inference that you are able to bring out from your analysis? That will make your answer stand out. What are the basic strategies and general rules you need to follow? Make sure your answer is very precise. Whenever you are trying to attempt narration or description of any graphical representation, it usually has a word limit. So, let it be a entrance exam or a comprehensive exam or even an interview test. So, the word limit would be specifically mentioned. So, always stick to the word limit. In order to do that, you need to have all your points jotted down properly. So, that you need to do a proper analysis of what is already given. Only then you will be able to give a precise answer. Always aim for clarity. Then you need to provide proper title to all your descriptions, what the graph represent. For example, for the previous bar chart, the title could be sale of various video games over the period of time from 2000 to 2006. Any such titles could be given, and whenever you are mentioning Whenever you are dealing with any large number of numerical data, various units of measurement would be given. For example, here the units of measurement were the sale was in billions. So, such units should be precisely mentioned. If you change those measurements, the answer might not make sense. Then what is clearly given in the visual information as data should be properly narrated as a description. So, these are the 4 points you have to keep in mind whenever you are dealing with any graphical representation. Now, what would make your answer better? For example, whenever you are having a meeting with your friend, your conversation should have an organic unity, right. So, you can't simply jump from one topic to another topic without any reason. So, in order to make or provide such a flow to your description, certain features are used such as transitional words. It is also called as linking words or connecting words or cohesive words. It provides connection from one sentence to another sentence. For example, I am talking about two different things. I like ice cream as well as chocolate. So, in order to provide better clarity, what I would do is I like ice cream, however, I prefer chocolates. Here I am not rejecting ice cream, I am just choosing chocolate more. So, the word however is helping to bring out that difference here. So, such words are called as transition words. Words or phrases would actually help you to relate the idea from two different sentences. Here I have given some transition words as example, and there are different categories of transition words. Such categories here are emphasis, addition, contrast and order. You will be able to identify these words into its appropriate categories, which will help you to give a better description of any visual images. So, when such transition words are used in an answer, it will make your answer have a unique clarity. Yes, here the words such as furthermore, undoubtedly, on the other hand, following, besides, indeed, whereas and subsequently falls under these 4 categories. Are we able to identify which category these words fall into? Let us see. The category emphasis has the word undoubtedly, indeed, on top of, moreover. The words such as furthermore and besides would fall under the category addition. Then words such as whereas, on the other hand, in contrast to, in opposing to, such words would fall under the category contrast. Then words such as following, subsequently, in lieu with, all these transition words would fall under the category order. So, whenever you are using these transition words, it will help you to create a smooth flow between one sentence or one idea to another. And now, we have come to the conclusion of our entire session. Here, why do we need to learn to describe a graphical presentation? The major purpose is it will help you to describe any visual image in a verbal manner better. You can use this ability, you can use this skill anywhere, especially in your work environment. It will help you to provide a better presentation or product promotion, anything. Graphical representation serves as a connecting bridge between data which is given to you, and it will help you to provide or take a better decision based on the analysis that you will be able to do on your own. And it will help you in various fields such as education, trade, even in our day-to-day lives as well. So, especially in a work environment, it will help you to create an impact with your presentations and seminars. And by just simply translating numbers and statistics into a visual data and explaining it better will make your communication clearer as well. Thank you.